AITA for letting my pregnant wife drown in $80,000 of debt after she cheated with her ex? Hello, everyone. I never thought I would be posting one of those stories, but here we are. Married for 5 years. My wife started getting weird about her ex, Logan. I discovered their affair on her iPad. Then she announced she was pregnant and dropped the bomb on me. It's not cheating. I owe him a baby. I documented everything. I impersonated Logan on her phone to trigger a $15,000 transfer that she sent willingly and used that money for a lawyer. I filed for divorce before the birth, contested paternity, froze accounts, canceled joint cards, and stopped covering her $80,000 debt. Both she and Logan were served. I kept my premarital assets, my truck, my tools, and my credit. I got exclusive possession of the house, and when she tried to break in, the police showed up. A report was filed, and I got a 1-year restraining order. Logan vanished as soon as the delivery day vibe wore off. Court-ordered DNA is pending. If it is mine, I will step up. If it is his, he pays the bill. Like the movie says, nothing personal, just business. Before all this, I made a checklist. I pulled my credit reports, secured my accounts, enabled fraud alerts, documented my tool's serial numbers, photographed every room, and got copies of her insurance and human resources documents. I created an incident log with times and license plate sightings. I checked router logs and exported bank CSVs. I created a burner email just for court documents. I forwarded delivery receipts to a separate archive and sent a duplicate USB drive to my brother in another state. Zero cowboy moves, just paperwork and timestamps. When people lie, clocks do not. Judges love clocks. Documentation beats speeches every time. I, a 31-year-old man, met my wife Brianna, a 30-year-old woman, at a friend's backyard barbecue 5.5 years ago. I worked in maintenance. She was an ER nurse, the kind who could parallel park a pickup on the first try and say it was like threading a needle. The first thing she said to me was, "You give off problem solver vibes," which I took as a compliment. We ended up walking to the grocery store for ice and came back with pistachios, 2 lawn chairs, and an inside joke about a sandal-stealing dog. We clicked fast, shared hobbies, goofy humor, those quiet nights building IKEA furniture that feel like a victory. We had a 2 for Tuesday tradition where we would teach each other something small. I taught her how to set a drywall anchor properly. She taught me how to fold a fitted sheet with dignity. One summer, we roamed the city with a disposable camera taking pictures of the ugliest front yards. I proposed under a string of mismatched backyard patio lights, because I am classy like that. We were married in under a year, and daily life felt easy. Sundays were for Costco runs, eating too many samples, and then roasting a chicken while we argued over which cooking show cheated the most. We had a shared list of places we would visit someday and rated taco stands on a 5 salsa scale like we were professional critics. The car radio would play our old dating songs, and she would do this dumb little dance in her seat. I would drum on the steering wheel, and we would end up laughing at nothing. It felt like we were an effortless team. That summer, easy felt like winning by default. About 2 years in, I started hearing more about Logan, her ex. The first time she mentioned him, we were watching some dumb action movie, and she said, "Logan would have loved this. He was big on practical effects." I let it slide. Exes are like old tools in a drawer. You keep them in your head, even if you never use them again. Fine. I mentally filed it away like a number on a receipt. Then it was, Logan used to rub my feet during movies. Okay, I can buy a foot massager, but go on. A couple of weeks later, Logan always made me feel like a queen. He just got it. That one stung. It did not sound casual. It sounded like a comparison with an invisible scoreboard I did not know was in play. I called her on it. "Can we drop the Logan stuff? I don't want to compete with a memory." She rolled her eyes. "I'm just telling you how I want to be treated. Take the note." Take the note. Not, "I don't understand you." No, that is fair. Just a teacher correcting a slow student. A couple of months later, I was cleaning out our shared cloud drive because it kept flagging that it was out of space. I opened her photos to move stuff, and boom, albums on albums. She had 70 folders, plenty of normal ones, and then a massive pile of pictures of her with the ex concerts, road trips, mirror selfies with his hand creeping into the frame. I asked her why they were still there. She shrugged. "Just haven't gotten around to deleting them." Then she added, "I don't even look at my pictures much. Don't make it a thing." I just said, "Got it." I closed the app and filed it as a red flag. From then on, it was eyes open, mouth shut. She started going out more. Brunches that turned into afternoons that ended in, I'm staying at a friend's place. Her screen time went from normal to she's launching a startup. The phone was always face down like it was shy. New clothes like she had time traveled back to 23 and forgot what arch support was. Meanwhile, the house got quiet where it used to be easy. In bed, she became a roommate. She would turn to the edge like the mattress had a border, sweatshirt, and leggings like armor. I would try to get close and get the polite pat you give a coworker in the break room. Kisses were replaced with, I'm tired. Touch was replaced with, I have a long day tomorrow. A couple of weeks of that, and you start to feel like a ghost with a toothbrush. The distance in bed was measured in inches. The respect was measured in silence. That night, me, why are you suddenly acting like a college kid every weekend? Her, because I still want excitement. You've gotten old and boring. Old and boring. I am 31. I am not a museum piece. My idea of a good time is tinkering with my truck and sleeping without an alarm. Sorry, I am not screaming song lyrics in a neon box pretending it is fun. We had fights, not shouting matches, just pressure. Questions would hang in the air and die there. I would ask something simple, and she would answer like I was cross-examining her under oath. Then she would go silent, eyes locked on her phone, thumb flying, and every time I walked into a room, the same contact was pinned at the top of her texts, like it only lived there when I showed up. So yeah, I noticed. Cold in the bed, cold in conversation. I stopped arguing and started watching. Fast forward to a Tuesday night. She sits on the edge of the bed with this rehearsed smile and says, I'm pregnant. We always used protection. We talked about kids but agreed it was a down-the-road thing. Right then, our budget was more replace the dishwasher rack than start a family. I felt that slow, cold drop in my stomach. I did not say congratulations. I said how. She shrugged, all casual. Sometimes things are just meant to be. No, physics is physics. Meant to be is not a contraceptive method. I held her because that is what you do in the moment, and my brain went into silent mode. There is a switch in me where feelings turn off. Emotion clocks out. Logic clocks in with a binder and a clipboard. Checklist, Logan. A day later, there was a nagging sound. Not a siren. Not the default tone. Just a chime that was too loud coming from the iPad on the kitchen shelf. She had named the device Alarm, so it would not look suspicious when it went off. Subtle. 2 notifications in a row, then a third. I was folding laundry, pretending marriage is just chores plus Netflix passwords. The screen lit up with the previews because she never turns those off. L. Free after he leaves. L. Missed that video from last week. L. Used the same hotel. The brain does a funny thing in moments like that. It takes a coffee break. Emotions punch out. Logic punches in. I hit the power button to make the screen go dark. The sound was still bouncing off the cabinets. Those notifications were not alarms. They were timestamps begging to be documented immediately. I did not confront her. I took out the trash, came back inside, and looked at the clock. 9:17 p.m. Yoga night. She would be out until 10. I looked at the iPad again. Alarm. Cute. Here is the part that is more routine than romance. She uses the same 4-digit code for everything. Our old house number from when we still had a porch swing and dumb optimism. Muscle memory typed it in before I decided if I was the kind of guy who did this. The home screen opened. iMessage bloomed like receipts. I did not have to look for the thread with L. It was at the top. Blue bubbles, gray bubbles, pictures, angles nobody uses for a family album, hotel names, times, Uber receipts, a few short clips. The kind of stuff you cannot unsee unless you were born without corneas. I took pictures of the screen with my phone because I do not trust syncing. I exported the conversation to a PDF and emailed it to myself at an account she does not know exists. I moved slowly, like I was defusing something electrical. When she got home, I was watching a sports recap and nodding like men do when they are trying to look invested in highlights. She kissed my head, landed near my right ear. She smelled like soap and fluorescent lights. Said she was exhausted. I said yeah. She showered. I heard the water hit the tiles and tried to remember what a normal night felt like. The next morning, I tested a boundary. What was the iPad passcode? It's doing that reboot thing. She laughed. Seriously? The usual one. And then she told me what I already knew. I thanked her like I had found my keys. For 3 days, I collected. I did not change a thing. I copied messages, photos, hotel confirmations, and call logs. I named the folder Insurance because I cannot help myself. In it, I built a neat timeline with dates, charges, and prices. She had spent more than I make in 3 months. He was not cheap. She was not either. The math hurt more than the videos. I kept my routine airtight. Morning, I love yous. Need anything from the store? Still took the can to the curb, still wiped down the counters. Inside, I was a bank auditor with a prison haircut. The plan showed up while I was brushing my teeth. It was not moral, it was practical. Like Michael Corleone, I told the bathroom mirror, "It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business." The mirror did not argue. That night, she fell asleep on the couch with a podcast murmuring. I took the iPad. I did not need to snoop. I needed logistics. I found Elle's contact card. No last name, just the letter, a number, and a gym mirror profile pic with a jaw trying too hard. No history. They apparently clear messages daily. I went right into the contact, edited the phone number, and put in my own. Before anyone asks how, I did not do anything slick, no hacks or spy gadgets. I just replaced one string of digits with another and saved it. The thread still said L. The bubble that popped up would still feel like him. I did not send anything yet. I waited until she left for work and texted from a burner number, one she did not have saved. Me as Logan, got a problem. Need a quiet favor. Her, what kind of favor? Me as Logan, not out of this thing yet. You know how it is. Can you spot me 15, and I'll square it Friday? Need it off the books. Side note, she was already carrying $80,000 in debt before the iPad choir. Roughly $45,000 from a master's, she quit 18 credits shy of finishing, $20,000 spread over 3 maxed-out cards for boutique fitness, work clothes, and weekend flights, plus $15,000 in cosmetic dentistry on a care credit plan. I had already paid off $20,000 because apparently, I thought marriage came with a cosigner badge. I chose $15,000 because it was enough to matter and not so much it would trigger bank alarms. He had a way of asking like a man who thinks the world owes him favors. I studied his texts until I could mimic his punctuation. No emojis, short sentences. Always implied urgency, never explanations. She did not text back for a while. I sat at the kitchen table and counted to 300 in my head, like a prisoner marking reps. The iPad stayed quiet. Instead, my phone lit up. Her, I can do it, but not a transfer. The fees flag me. Me as Logan, use your card. Same app as last time. Can't have that in my bank. You said it was okay. I know what you were thinking. And yeah, this was me crossing a line by stepping over other lines. I did not floss before I jumped it. I held my nose and jumped anyway. She did not argue. She sent a screenshot, then a confirmation, then done. $15,000 charged to her credit card, pushed to the account that was now linked to me. She added, delete this. Me as Logan, always do. I moved the money as soon as it landed. Not into anything stupid. First, the lawyer's retainer, and first and last on a storage unit. A new checking account at a bank she does not use. I let out a breath I had been holding since alarms sang to me. The money was not revenge. It was fuel to get out clean and fast. Then I waited. That was the longest part. You do not pull a thread like that and expect it to sit still. If she checked her card, she would see it. If he texted, she might mention it. I stayed in character. Sent another text that afternoon. Same rhythm. Nothing about money. Just enough to keep the shape of him alive on her phone. At dinner, she asked about my day. I told her about invoices and a coworker who microwaves fish. I asked about hers. She said, meetings. Her voice had that distracted tone it gets when she is texting while listening. The iPad did not chime. I had turned the volume down. 2 days later, the Real Logan must have texted from his real number. She sent my number a confused. What was that about money? I texted back the most believable lie in the world. Me as Logan, it's handled. Don't text me about it. Then I archived the thread, moved all the files into Insurance, and put the iPad back. The thing is this. That $15,000 was nowhere near what she burned through on hotels, work dinners, and rideshare trips. Not even a third. But it paid for my way out and the guy who would make it official. It was enough to stop thinking in circles and start thinking in straight lines. I did not gloat. I did not confess to the impersonation. I let the math and the timeline do the talking where it mattered, on paper, in a room with clocks and flags. She still does not know where that $15,000 went. Maybe she thinks he ghosted her on it. Maybe she thinks the fees ate it. Maybe she knows and hates me for it. I am not an action hero. I am a boring guy who did a cold thing because the warm thing died on a Tuesday at 9:17 p.m. I did not yell. I did not break things. I printed, organized, and filed the old-fashioned way. I took screenshots, pulled EXIF data, and saved time-stamped PDFs. I created a folder structure a detective would applaud. I made copies on 2 USB drives, one in my toolbox, one in a bank safe deposit box. Then I told a lawyer. A real one, not a guy in a bar with opinions. We live in a no-fault state, but there are still lanes, marital assets, spousal support, paternity presumptions, all that cheerful stuff. Then I confronted her. Saturday morning. Her in the kitchen making pancakes like it is a normal day. I put the iPad on the counter, opened the messages, and sat down. Is there anything you want to tell me that doesn't start with a lie? She looked down, looked up, bit her lip for dramatic effect, then went straight to arrogance. No apology, no hesitation. It's not cheating, she said. I laughed, once no smile. I am literally reading you scheduling it. You sent him videos on our couch. She stood up straight like she was defending a thesis. Logan told me during intimacy, I am going to get you pregnant. And I knew he meant it. I had to say yes. I waited for the hidden camera. Nothing. She kept going, voice getting sharper. He never dated anyone after me. Do you get that? He has been alone since me. I owe him this. He wants me to be pregnant. He wants a family. She pointed the spatula at my chest. You can't even afford a baby. You're stuck in your little budget life, acting like coupons and calendars make you a man. Her sentence rewrote morality like a post-it note stuck to granite. I looked at the screen, then at her. Are you saying this like it's fair? It is, she said, chin up. You don't understand passion. You're a placeholder. He's the real thing. Okay. Message received. Passion, destiny. All the fancy words people use when the sink is full of dishes. Feeling silent. Checklist. Logan. Drywall does not understand tears. It understands blueprints. Feeling silent. Checklist. Logan. I went long game. Quiet. Methodical. No theater. This was not going to be a shouting match. It was going to be clean paperwork and consequences that do not wash off. A few days later, I went to the house after work to finish things up. She was at the counter with a smoothie, acting like we were not in the middle of a legal proceeding. I put a slim folder on the island and used my 4:55 p.m. customer service voice. This is a courtesy visit. You have been served. Filed Monday. Accepted this morning. Temporary orders are active. I am getting my last things from the office and garage. Keys. Follow me. No shouting. Just keys, forms, and a locksmith appointment already scheduled. She blinked, then went into entitled mode like she had hit a button. Chin up, arms crossed, moral lecture ready. It's not cheating. I was doing him a favor. He wanted me to be pregnant. She said it like she deserved a medal and a tax deduction. Perfect. Then he pays the bill, I said. The docket numbers are on the first page. I don't give speeches, I make flowcharts. I broke it down for her like a mechanic with a clipboard. Joint accounts closed or converted. Joint card frozen. Saturday at 9:06 a.m. Confirmation printed. Because paper wins. Fights don't. Feelings never do. Your authorized user status on my personal card. Removed. All auto pays linked to me. Canceled. Utilities. My name is off them. So my credit doesn't ride shotgun with your late fees. I left the account numbers on the fridge because I clean up even when it is not my mess. Separate renter's insurance. You keep your policy number. I'm opening mine. Direct deposit rerouted. Beneficiaries updated. Two-factor authentication changed. Credit frozen at all 3 bureaus. Mail forwarding set up. I warned human resources. No adding dependents without my wedding signature, ever. She tried to talk over authorized user and turn it into a TED talk about loyalty. I held up a hand, palm down. This isn't a town hall. It's an exit interview. She went into martyr mode. Logan is my real family. He wanted this. You never understood passion. Then she promoted herself to CEO of morality. You should be grateful I can create life. Real men provide. Courts don't enforce passion, I said. They enforce paperwork. Paternity is contested. The hospital has noticed not to list me. When the court orders the test, you hand over a swab and a pen. If it's his, your support conversation is with him. If it's not, we talk. But it's not mine. She went for my wallet anyway. You'll still have to answer for it. Presumptive father, everyone knows. Besides, you owe me stability. My body is your responsibility. Presumption isn't destiny, I said. Timing matters. I filed before the birth. The record is preserved. Ask your lawyer what rebuttable means. Her eyes fell on the packet, and she did not like the tabs. The tabs were labeled like a tax audit. Assets, debts, dissipation. Under dissipation were 6 Thursdays' worth of hotel receipts, rideshare trips, and the text where she wrote, "Use the same hotel," highlighted for a judge who hates stories and loves numbered items. I'm not paying your personal debts, I said. Not the boutique memberships, not reconnecting with your passion for a master's you quit, and not the $15,000 you transferred to your ex. That $15,000 is between you and your baby's father. We'll split my portion of marital property. The rest of it falls where the card was swiped. She got petty. You're small. You nickel and dime life. That's why you'll die alone in a garage counting screws. Besides, the pregnancy makes you the father whether you like it or not. Inventory so I don't get robbed twice, I replied. Judges call it documentation. I slid the next sheet over. Division of property. Boring means fair. Anything I had before the marriage is out, and it's photographed in the storage unit. The truck title is premarital. Stays with me. You get the furniture you picked and the blender you treat like a personality. I get the tools and what I paid for alone. If I took anything of yours, flag it and send it through counsel. I will return it or produce the receipt. She scoffed at return it like I had offered to bring back a library book 2 days late. You think you can just walk away and wash your hands? I can and I am. I haven't posted videos. I haven't sent screenshots to your boss, not my style. Both our families got a factual package and the docket number, so there is no reputation damage. People with professional licenses get the full story. Everyone else gets silence. She poked at the transfer again because it was still bleeding. He says he didn't ask for money. Your card, your decision, your liability, I said. If you feel scammed, file a report and put down the name you're willing to swear to. That shut her up. She is allergic to signatures. I tapped the keys on the island, then put them in my pocket. The locksmith is scheduled for Tuesday at noon. Temporary orders say this is my residence until the hearing. Return any copies through counsel. The garage opener stays in the junk drawer by the sink. She changed tactics. The kid card. You can't just not be there for your child. I will always be there for my child, I said. This is not my child. You want Logan, you get all of Logan. Put his name on the certificate. Register him with the state. Let him put that jawline where his mouth is. She tried the moral reboot. You're abandoning a family. You abandoned a marriage, I said. With ride shares. I had turned on a voice recorder when I walked in. One-party consent state. Phone on airplane mode. No friendly notifications. I stated the date and time at the start. And near the end, I stated, I do not consent to any new debts, purchases, or liabilities in our joint names. Nothing dramatic, just clean. Jason Bourne with a spreadsheet. Final walkthrough like a foreman. Closet marked and photographed. Her side untouched. Bathroom drawer. My stuff out. Her stays. Office. Drives. Passports. Tax binders already secured. Wi-Fi. Factory reset on the router I bought. Trash tied up and ready by the door, because I do not leave messes even when the mess is human. She threw the last spark. Logan loved me more in one night than you did in 5 years, and you should be proud to raise greatness. Perfect, I said. Let him love you through a rough month and estate withholding. I hope he's good with budgets. She needed a scene. What she got was policy and procedure. She grabbed her bag, took her smoothie, and marched to the door. Hand on the knob. She turned and declared it like a court order meant for Instagram. I am not living under the same roof with an insecure, cheap man. Put it in writing, I said. No door slam. Just a click you hear if you are really listening. The taillights pulled out of the driveway like a bad idea, finally leaving the group chat. I sent a picture of the keys to my lawyer, set the alarm, and labeled a folder, Access Control. Locksmith confirmed. Tuesday, 12 p.m. I took out the trash, wiped the counters, and let the house breathe. Half an hour later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo of the process server handing Logan the envelope in front of a strip mall gym. Timestamp, 3:12 p.m. Caption, service complete. I filed it under insurance/personal. I put my phone face down and enjoyed the silence that only exists when all the fuses have already been pulled. People expect fireworks. The satisfying part is that nothing explodes because you pulled the wiring weeks ago. Accounts aligned, doors secured, forms filed. She has a kitchen full of tabs, a baby she is calling Destiny, and a clear view of the person who kept the lights on without chasing her down the driveway. Like Michael Corleone says, it is not personal, it is just business. Let's check in on Logan, the "I'm going to get you pregnant" poet. The second Brianna told him she was late, his texts went from novella to Morse code. She pushed. He replied with "busy week," energy, then ghosted. Blocked. New number. Witness protection level gone. The guy who demanded adrenaline bailed when the adrenaline turned into a calendar and a due date. I did not celebrate. I am not a monster. Watching someone realize they built their high on a guy who will not even commit to a text back is rough. Also, you buy the ticket, you take the ride. She sat on the edge of the tub, mascara doing its best raccoon cosplay, and said she could not believe it. I could. He talked big when it was a thrill. Now it is an invoice. The court ate up my tabs like a judge drinks black coffee. Assets. Debts. Dissipation. Dissipation came with 6 Thursdays worth of hotel receipts, matching rideshare trips, and a very helpful text where she wrote, "Use the same hotel. Perfect for a witness stand that hates stories and loves numbered items." I separated premarital assets with pictures and receipts. The truck title is pre-marriage. The tools are mine. She gets the furniture and the blender she treats like a personality trait. If anything got mixed up, she can send it through counsel. I will return it or produce proof. Logan's disappearance tested her new life philosophy. Without a patron saint of passion, her plan B was me. She came back 2 weeks later with a rolling suitcase and a speech that would have scored a 7.2 on the Olympic gaslighting scale. "I can't live with my family," she said. Translation: they were holding her accountable, with curfews and receipts. She prefers applause. The temporary orders gave me exclusive possession of the home pending the hearing. Locks changed, alarm on, notices posted. I opened the door with the chain on, and that is where it stayed. She started with nostalgia, moved to guilt, then pivoted to threats. Classic menu. I was not buying. "I am not your landing strip," I said. I kept my voice calm, like a range instructor. "You told the world you wouldn't live with an insecure, cheap man. Take your victory lap somewhere else." She begged, said I was her only stability, asked me to be a real man. I pointed to the folder I keep on the entry table. Sealed orders, case number, and the line where the court acknowledges paternity is contested and financial mingling is frozen. "Real men follow the law," I said. "You have a lawyer. Use her." And I closed the conversation because I am not a rehab facility. Besides, I'm seeing someone. Her name is not your business. Leave us alone. That last line detonated what little self-control she had left. She tried to push past the chain. All she got was my deadbolt and a door frame designed by people who read UL ratings for fun. She left cursing and came back that Saturday when my girlfriend Vanessa was over. We were inventorying my tools, tagging sets, separating metric from standard like civilized people. Vanessa is quiet and competent. She understands torque specs and silence. The universe decided that deserved a test. Brianna pounded on the door, then circled the house like a raccoon with a podcast. She tried the back door, which I had rekeyed and secured with zip ties just in case. She yelled that she wanted to talk to the new girl. Vanessa did not flinch. She moved to the interior hallway and positioned herself where the camera gets a good angle. Smart woman. I called 911. Calm voice, clear facts. Domestic disturbance. Ex-wife on site violating temporary orders. Attempting entry. Prior warning given. I am secured only by a security system and nothing more. All neutral. Dispatch stayed on the line. I turned on the porch light and put the cameras on live view. Brianna made her big mistake on the side of the house. She went for the old spare key under the rock from before the rekey. It was empty. That did not stop her from trying the handle. When it did not turn, she escalated to pounding and shouting, accusing Vanessa of wrecking a family. Then she threw the fake rock at the glass. It did not break. Tempered glass. Bless the previous owner. The patrol car was there in under 7 minutes. Officer Jordan and Officer Miguel. Body cams on. They separated us, took the short version, and asked for Brianna's. She gave them her story. I showed them the orders. Officer Jordan read the exclusive possession line out loud. Brianna claimed I had lured her there. My doorbell cam caught her screaming, "You can't kick me out of my own house," for the first 60 seconds. You cannot argue with pixels. She tried to move past the officers to get to Vanessa. That turned a trespassing call into an attempted assault. Nothing cinematic. She moved wrong. Officer Miguel stepped in. Brianna tripped over her own purse and met the concept of consequences at knee level. Cuffs. Calm tone. Transport. They handed me the report number like a receipt at checkout. 25-18743. I filed it under access control. That Monday, I filed for a temporary restraining order. It was granted ex parte with a hearing set for 2 weeks out. The next time we saw each other was in a courtroom where you call the judge, Your Honor, and the walls smell like lemon cleaner and consequences. Her lawyer tried the emotional distress, pregnancy, need for stability line. My stack of timelines, videos, proofs of service, and police reports beat vibes. The court extended the no-contact order for a year. Courts do not chase vibes. They chase signatures and evidence. She cannot call, text, show up, tag me, message through third parties, or breathe near my driveway. Any contact goes straight to a violation. I did not celebrate. I filed the order, scanned it, and moved on. Logan never showed for the paternity status conference. His lawyer sent a withdrawal that basically said, "Client is unlocatable and uncooperative." The court set a date for genetic testing. If he dodges it, the state does what the state does to paychecks. That is not revenge. It is the machine doing machine things. If the child is mine, I will step up and support him accordingly. If it is not, the mountain of paper I built ensures I do not get drafted into fatherhood on vibes. People think revenge is fireworks. Mine is a circuit breaker board. You flip the right ones. Nobody throws parties in your house without permission. She bragged she would not live with an insecure, cheap man. Now she cannot live here at all. Court order. She tried to make my girlfriend the villain and ended up escorted out of my yard by 2 professionals who do not care about her Instagram. I kept my job, my credit, my truck, and my peace. Comment. I know stories like this can be tough, but they hold powerful lessons about our own strength. True self-respect is not about shouting louder, but about calmly protecting your peace. Setting boundaries is one of the most important ways we show ourselves kindness. Ultimately, we are each responsible for the integrity of our actions, no matter the situation. Sometimes, the most powerful choice you can make is to choose peace over proving you are right. Healing begins when we stop participating in the chaos and start investing in our calm. Be kind to your future self. Make the hard decisions today that you will thank yourself for tomorrow. It is a powerful reminder that we all deserve to be treated with respect, especially by ourselves. Take care of yourself, and never forget the value of your peace of mind. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.